Hey, this is my response to the DNC when they say do something. Well, that makes perfect sense because the moon in the chart is how we emotionally impress other people. And Kamala has the moon in Aries. So it's fired up. It's like when she talked about her mother, you just don't complain, you do something. So you don't just say, I'm triggered, you do something. And then Walls has the moon in Aquarius. So that's his big picture, broad things, starting the first gay student alliance in whatever high school he was teaching in. So Coach got his thing, and then the first husband or the second gentleman or whatever, he is, Moon, I believe in Capricorn, but he's all of these three people. Walsh, Kamala's husband, and Kamala all are dragons, and they're golden year dragons, wood dragons, 1964, the Civil Rights Act. So these three people are literally the embodiment of the promises that have not been kept, have not been followed through on by America. Now, to be fair, because I'm a lawyer here, and I did love the critical thinking of Kamala, but the point is that the dog Trump, this is the most challenging year for anybody born a year to dog. So when you are thinking about your astrology, you might be getting an ego, but when you're thinking about your Chinese animal, animals don't have ego per se. Mhm. So think of your Chinese animal and really feel what are the characteristics of each animal. Well, dragon, ephemeral, chimera, combination of multiple animals, and they fly through the sky. So they automatically have a larger, big picture. The arc of social justice, leans toward equality or whatever King said, but that he was a snake. The point is that the arc dragons have an ability to see the arc, past, present, and future. Taking the long view. So when that Aries moon, known as our presidential hopeful, and I am anticipating her winning at least six out of the so-called battleground states, and even some that will surprise the fuck out of you. If they can even hold on to Ohio, talking about those couches. Well, Trump being the year of the dog, and the fact that Trump also has Pluto, which is collective power, so that vibration of what we've been feeling this week through the Democratic National Convention versus the Republican, that weaving of multiculturalism that is a promise of America. Trump being born a year of the dog, this is one of the most challenging years for people of the dog. But more importantly, with his late Leo rising, it means he has Pluto, which is collective emotional power and fear, going through his sixth house of humility. If you're not humble, then it becomes humiliation because humiliation is just enforced humility. So watch for the deconstruction of this man's ego, who he is the embodiment of America's ego or Western patriarchal culture from millennia. And so Pluto can only be crossing into this area of his chart once in his lifetime. So basically, he said, I'm going to get to my late 70s, and everything that I've quote unquote built or stolen is going to be unraveled. The Central Park Five being exonerated. How about that? And being beat by a woman, black, Asian, Jamaican, a prosecutor. Let's breathe, people. But I have anticipation because I go back to 1984 when Mondale only won his state of Minnesota. Well, that's 40 years ago, and that's when Geraldine Ferraro was the first woman on a ticket as vice president. So it's time for the script to flip. And let me be clear, the lawyer part of me is very excited, as you can tell. But the soulful part of me, the part that says everything happens for for our evolutionary perspectives, hey, look, America, we either evolve or we regress. And even when it's looking like we're moving backwards, we really aren't. So just know that as my sister says, there are a group of population that are ready, that can vote now, that they only saw a man of color as their first president. So they don't have the same eyes or the same heavy kind of retrogressive patriarchal bullshit in their souls. So, um, if you want to know more, Our Raw Material, www.ourrawmaterial.com, or Belief is Not Required. Belief is not required. It's going to lean a little bit more on the soulful energy of the ego, how the ego does personality and how we connect. And Our Raw Material is about the awareness of our souls and how we evolve from that awareness. This is Quan out. Happy Venus Friday. And if you listen to this, just say happy birthday, because this is the 34 years ago I changed my name from Paul Tracy Cherry to Quan Tracy Cherry on August 23rd. Didn't even have to pay for it because the magistrate asked me why was I changing my name, and I said for spiritual reasons. He said I waived the $90 fee. And I just remembered about a couple months ago that Kuan Yin is a dragon master in one of their incarnations, and they are they. So, you want more information about the dragons? Hit me up. Love you guys. Bye.